I am Lur, ruler of the planet Omicron Persei 8. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. Folks, we have all of the Omicrons on all the different characters that they've announced so far. Every new character is getting an Omicron, by the way, at least one. They say all the marquees, everyone. And that being said, we don't have Hera and IPD, and that's fine. I don't think they're going to end up being priorities anyways, just because of the squads they would normally go with. And my guess is that IPD isn't even going to be GAC anyways. GAC is the reason we're doing this ranking, of course, guys. So we have all of them ranked because I need to know for myself, and you guys need to know as well, that which one we're going to apply. Like, what we need to make good decisions moving into GAC. So it's not going to do any good to say, man, that Sidious one is so good, I'd put it over the top of the GAC ones. Like, it doesn't matter. If you want to focus on GAC, you should probably be applying GAC ones initially, or territory wars, or some people are doing territory battles. No judgment one way or another, but we are going to rank them in categories as opposed to just one long list. And otherwise, that's what we're going to do. So before we head in to do our ranking, just want to remind you guys, we're trying to mount the algorithm and get this channel blown up. We're trying to get to 9K by the end of the year, and we're making momentum, but we're keeping momentum up, but who knows when it's going to break. So please, guys, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done it already. It's free. It's a free way to support the channel. Leave a comment in the comment area. Both things will support the algorithm. Also, hitting the sub button, like I just mentioned, also helps with that. And dinging the bell, I'm sure it won't hurt you guys. Just try it once. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Well, I was going to offer you candy, but I don't even have candy. So if I had candy, I'd probably have it for myself. Actually, I don't eat candy anymore. So that was a bold-faced lie, and I'm starting off this analysis with lies. It's not probably a good omen. As Jar Jar would say, bad omen. And we just started with quoting Jar Jar. Gosh, I'm embarrassed. But okay, guys, here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. We're in the game, and we're talking about Starkiller because he's the first one. He's the number one guy. He's my number one pick because he's got at least one Omicron that I absolutely do need. It is unique here, and it is really good. It's you guys are gonna have to read it yourselves. I'm not gonna spend the entire time talking about this. Frankly, this is what makes him good. Like this is as vital as any Zeta for him at all, if you want to do well in GAC. Clearly, like, he can be used in other places in the game. Of course he can, but GAC is where his best stuff is, and if you want an Omicron, that is the number one. Now, the other ones we'll touch on, and I'm not sure. I kind of think I'm going to skip one of them initially, so they're both on special. So the first special here, I have to click on 8, don't we? So this one is, while unleashed, dispel all debuffs on all allies, and the buff immunity and healing immunity can't be copied. So once he gets unleashed, which takes a while to get, he will he's also able with this special to inflict buff immunity and healing immunity, and it can't be resisted for 2 turns. That's nice. That is really nice. Jedi Master K has a similar one, but the thing is, I don't know. We have to get unleashed first. He's gonna have to take quite a few turns for this to work, and then for it to be non-dispellable, we have to apply an Omicron. I don't know. I mean, it's also dispelled debuffs on all allies, so it depends on who he's countering as well. So I'm just not sure what we should be doing with this. It depends on who he counters, and if it's like a heavy debuff character, if it's a Galactic Legend that has lots of debuffs, like Jedi Master Luke, ironically has a ton of debuffs, that might actually end up being a really good one. But we're not sure I'll tell you what, if Starkiller ends up only being able to counter one Galactic Legend and it's Jedi Master Luke, then I guess I don't really care about that anyways, because we can deal with that noob other ways. And yeah, so Next one on him. So I think that Omicron's going to wait, frankly, until I get at least one onto Zam. Now, with this one is also good. In Grand Arena, this one dispels all buffs on all enemies. I think this one's going to be pretty vital for Starkiller. I think that this one and his ultimate, or sorry, his unique, are both going to be really good. So I would save for both of these two first, and then if you have Omicrons to spare, then apply them to other characters. So the other one can wait for a while at least until we find out a little bit more. My next target, though, guys, is Zam. You guys can watch the video. I'll try to link it in the video description. If I don't remember to, though, you can search it. It's not very far off from when I published this one. I talk about why Zam's is actually better than Qui-Gon's. And there's a lot of really good reasons, in my opinion. But I also think that it's situational. So one thing I should mention before we go any further, folks, this is really actually very important, that I need to make sure you guys understand. So these are all of the GAC Omicrons that we have so far, and this is the order of them. So yay, you guys get spoiled on the order, but it's more important for me to communicate this. All of these characters are reliant on getting when you're going to have these characters available in a relevant way. So Starkiller, if you're not going to unlock Starkiller for 4 months or something like that, which no shade on you, my alt is going to take 4 or 5, 6 months to get him, because, you know, I'm not going to spend a ton of money. Though I will have a lot of crystals now, ironically, on my alt. But we can let's move beyond that. The thing about this alt is, folks, if you don't have Starkiller, then why are you saving Omicrons for him? If you're not going to get him for 6 months, that's going to be 12 Omicron total. Like, you're going to be able to accumulate 12 total to apply. You don't need to wait for him. You can wait until you're 3 out or something. So the same thing. If you have terrible bounty hunters, then don't put it on Zam. If you have really bad Jedi, or all of your Jedi are counted for except for really bad Jedi, then don't put it on Qui-Gon, etc. In fact, like Prevail Man, my third account, my smallest, is going to be placing one on Chirpa because he doesn't have any other squads that are actually relevant for GAC for him, but Chirpa's is still pretty good. So that I'm going to talk also about which squads you should actually have available in order to apply these responsibly, kind of. So Zam is the first one you want to apply to, and well, after Starkiller, in my opinion, if you have good bounty hunters, and this is, you need Relic Bosk, you need probably Relic Grief at the very least, and then probably like Mando, and if you have all of those, Zam's going to be great, especially if you have Aura Singh. Aura Singh is the cherry on top. She is not absolutely needed, but Zam is going to be hitting like a truck. You're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. Bounty Hunters are the foundation team in the entire game, most foundational team in the whole game. I swear, guys, they are so amazing, and she is going to make them way better because she's giving them all of her stats. She's giving them a ton of stats. She's giving them somewhere between 70 and 80 speed for each and every one of them, just base speed. There you go. She's giving them a ton of health and protection and offense. It's very, very good, extremely impactful for the squad, and she has to be Relic 7 anyways for this team, for her bounty hunter team to actually, for Lord Vader, I think, unlocks. So it takes a while to get to that point, because Lord Vader's tough to start unlocking. But once you finally do, Relic 7 Zam doesn't feel so bad anymore. Qui-Gon, I think this one is great. People have been saying a lot of mean things. They're not mean, I'm joking, but they've been saying they don't understand, and I thought it was clear in my video. I said it multiple times, but if it wasn't clear, I love this Omicron. It's really cool. I think it's also just a really cheap kind of, like, it's one-dimensional is what it is. It's not something that's going to help you be flexible. Well, it'll help you have a more flexible roster, I guess, but it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you be more versatile in a lot of the matches. So you're going to go into a match and you're going to say, okay, here's my goal. I'm going to destroy the enemy team using this set of conditions. And then that's great. That's cool. If you want to do that, that's fine. But you have to also be aware that once you do that, if things go sideways, things are going to go so far sideways that it's laughable. And if you place it on defense, it's also going to have some pretty bad results, in my opinion. I could be wrong. And of course, people make the argument you could put really good Jedi with him. And then you don't put really good Jedi with a leadership that just makes people hit a little bit harder, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys are using your Jedi, but the way I have them all loaded out, I can't spare any better Jedi than, like, Jedi Knight Anakin, and that is still a little bit sketchy. So it's a pretty good one. It is not the world beater that everyone is telling us it is. I'm convinced of that. Now, if there's more Jedi added to the game, absolutely going to be relevant, more and more relevant as we move along. Dash Rendar is a guy, I already have my Omicron applied to him because I was foolish. I applied it because I thought that GAC was going to be just in a week, and they hadn't canceled it yet. They hadn't announced the reallocation of Squad Arena and everything, and so I placed this thinking, okay, I'm gonna, and it was premature anyways. I should have waited for a week, and if I had, then I wouldn't be in this situation. But I was excited because this Omicron is really cool, and I thought that I'd just be able to get a multiple weeks worth of use of it, and I clearly haven't. It's just been applied, and he's been sitting there. I don't even think I've tested even once with him, because you can't test with him. It's a GAC only thing. That's one thing I feel frustrated about, but this isn't about me and my frustrations here. It's about, so this one's pretty simple. If an ally loses prepared, they gain prepared. That means that immediately, as long as they have prepared, then, and I think that he starts everyone off with prepared, or something like that. Maybe, oh, this is unique. Whoops, his lead. Yeah, so everyone starts with prepared, and yeah, they enter the battle prepared, and so he's going to give everyone buffs, all this stuff, and then he just won't die. So even at 3 or 4 stars, he's 4 stars because I bought a pack, and then I bought a 7-star roll of the dice, and that didn't go well, clearly. But he's not going to die even at gear 12. He's going to be an offensive character. I know a lot of people are saying that he's going to be a lot better on defense. Like that's why you put the Omicron on him. I think that on offense, though, he's going to be a really efficient choice, and they're going to be punching way, way up. I'm really excited to start making videos about him. It's just very difficult because I can't test him, and I'm also not going to Kraken out on him. I'm going to be light whaling. I'll spend in shipments on him once he's available for crystals, but I'm not going to spend $300. I'll spend $100, etc. So he's next, but I guess the thing I want to point out, though, guys, this one is a pretty unique one. If you don't have the full prepared team with Vander Relic, you want Relic Vander, you want a Relic L3, you want Kira Relic, to which she's ridiculously obnoxious for gear in gear 11, going into gear 11 and 12, and then you also want either young Han or young Lando. It's a pretty specialized team. This one is better than the rest that I'm going to show you, but it requires a very specialized team. Darth Talons is good. The thing is, she is actually just good on her own without her Omicron. You don't really need her Omicron that much. And this is kind of a guess, in fact. I think it's going to be good. It's very difficult to predict this one because it's so specific. You don't really know at what point. Like, we're going to have to remod our Traya teams and try to figure this out. And this is only going to work if she's working with Traya. If you don't intend to use a Traya squad with her, then there's no point in putting her Omicron on. She'll still be good because she's still boosting her team with all of the different stats, with plus speed, plus health, plus offense, etc. But she is not going to buff. She doesn't need this for any other part or for any other team except if she's going with Traya. So I think that this is a pretty impactful one. It's much better than people are giving her credit for. People are saying that she sucks, and a lot of that has to do with some people testing it when they first unlocked and using bad teams with her, and I think that was just kind of widespread. People saw her being ineffective in a bad situation and equated it with her being ineffective in a good situation, which was false. So she is actually really good, but she's I don't know. her Omicron is a question mark. It is a big question mark. She may end up moving down on this list or up, depending. We'll just have to see. There's going to be some fanboys out there who instantly apply her Omicron, and then we'll hopefully see some footage from them. So those are the first 5. I mean, and at some point the third Star Killer Omicron is going to be applied for me. I think I will end up putting 2 on Star Killer. And however, I'm going to have to do the math and everything, but then Zam will go, well, she'll get hers before he gets his 3rd. Now, these other ones, guys, they're not bad. The Chirpa one is actually fairly exciting. I know people are saying it's super boring, but I just think that it's what they needed. So they're going to be gaining speed. You want that starting turn, and Pat Blue, if you make him super fast, is going to start the turn meter train, and you're not going to look back, because the Ewoks are going to do so many specials that they always call assists. As they call assists, everyone's gaining turn meter, everyone's taking turns, and they're just not going to relent. This is going to be a team. Everyone is telling me that this is foolish, that Nest just stops this team, and I actually disagree. If you have a good, high-potency low-gray, Nest doesn't solo this team. Maybe Nest with Watt might, but honestly, if you make your low gray fast enough, or you have a good enough turn meter situation, then I think low gray is just going to keep cycling through and taking all of your turn meter, and you'll just lose. So I do think that Nest is going to struggle on this. Everyone says Nest just solos this. I think that with the turn meter gains, with the additional chance to call to assist, and therefore gaining turn meter from those assists, I think that Nest will time out against a good Ewok team. I could be wrong. We can't test it. Like I said, it's frustrating, but we don't know. Otherwise, we have Rose Tico, and this isn't bad, but you have to put a Zeta on her, which that's not terrible, really. And if you only have a resistance team, if that's your only team because you got Rey and you have a Relic 5 Rose, I wouldn't say just like hold it and don't put it on anyone. I'd still throw it on Rose because it does some good stuff. The thing is, it's not going to be so you gain extra turn meter. If she's with a Jedi Training Rey team, she turbo boosts that Jedi Training Rey team. If she's with a Finn team with like Poe or something, then you're going to also be gaining a lot more turn meter than you thought. This isn't a terrible one. Obviously, it's the last in the list, and that's kind of fitting for a dumpy character like Rose. So those are the GAC ones. Let's talk real quick about Territory Wars. So Boba Fett, Scion of Jango, his are all pretty good. I'm not going to go into detail about them because, frankly, I don't remember which ones they are, and I don't think that so here's the thing, that they made this character to be a galactic legend in Territory Wars. That's what they made him to be. Galactic legends typically do need all of their Zetas, and reading all of his abilities, I do think in Territory War context, you are going to want all of the Omicrons. However, I do think that first off, we're not going to get him for another, month and a week at the very least from the making of this video. So you're going to be able to accumulate 2, maybe 3 more Omicrons in that time. And if that's the case, then you don't need to apply them right away. But if your guild is a guild that's going to be centered around this territory war, this game mode, then Boba Fett's going to be a really good one to apply. I think those are the best bang for your buck. Right now, that's the best you can do if you're not going to unlock. So also, you might not be getting the red box every time. You might not unlock Scion the first time. I will, because I'm spending on crates that give me extra shards. I'm making sure that I'm going to get the red box, the red crate, whatever. And so I'll get him the first time around, and he'll be a good bounty hunter even without the Omicrons. But he is going to be, like I said, a galactic legend in Territory Wars. None of these other Omicrons bring their character even close to that level. So I would absolutely place all 3 of them on him. Maybe we'll review them closer and determine that a couple aren't needed right away, but it's pretty important. So Mara Jade, I like hers well enough. It's pretty neat. It's in Territory Wars. It's pretty cool because it specifically targets General Skywalker. So look at this. It's just funny. if the enemy leader is not a galactic legend, so if it's General Skywalker with the 501st, they lose 100% protection, and they lose 50% of their max protection, and Mara Jade immediately gets her first turn, or gets turn meter, 100% turn meter. And so that means it sits down General Skywalker instantly before he can do a single thing. So General Skywalker is just going to be set down. This is a really cool one. It counters one specific team, and it does it extremely well. And you don't have to worry about banners because it's territory wars. Phasma, people have been applying this one like crazy because it's the only one that's actually useful at all. So it's kind of nice to actually have an ability, an Omicron that people are using. No one has used a single GAC one. No one can use the FET one. And Territory Wars, there's like Jawas who you can apply to, and a couple people do. But then this one is fairly impactful. I've seen a few videos where she has Supreme Leader Kylo on her team, and that team takes like 7 squads to take down, even for an elite guild. I'm not saying that it's going to be amazing, but and it's tied to her leadership, which is limited, right? It's limiting. So I wouldn't say just jump out and do it, but if you want to immediately make an impact in Territory Wars, you don't care about how you do in GAC, this one's fine. If you're not going to, especially if you're not going to get any of these other characters. I mean, the thing is, the Mara Jade one, as long as you get her to gear 11 right away, that's going to be impactful immediately too, because a lot of places, a lot of guilds place all of their General Skywalkers on defense, and I think that's going to change here pretty dang soon, because that's going to be a super cheap team to counter a General Skywalker squad. Captain Phasma, not bad. This isn't bad. I would say if you're not going to do Mara, nice. If you're not going to do that, Phasma's fine. Phasma is acceptable. Sidious, this one might end up passing Phasma. I'm not sure. It's just very difficult to tell exactly what happens. So you need a Zeta first, but a lot of people have applied his Zeta anyways because his unlock on Mission 1 is somewhat unreliable unless you have his Zeta, in which case it's very easy to unlock Sith Eternal with that. So once you put his Zeta on, though, then what happens? You get all these other bonuses, but in Territory Wars, he gets stronger for all of this stuff. So let's see, other Sith allies gain max health equal to his potency, so you have to do math, unfortunately, guys. I'm sorry you have to do that. But you also have demoralizing blows that has the cooldowns reduced every time for each of your Sith brethren that you're in a squad with. And so if you have a Sith ally, if you have 4 Sith allies with him, then he's able to just spam this ability. So he just does this AoE, inflicts damage over time and expose, and so he can spam it, and he gets super duper duper fast because he's gaining every single time another 50 plus 50 speed, and that lasts for 4 turns. So he gains 200 speed, and then it just keeps rolling around. And yeah, it's kind of cool. It seems really cool. I don't know what teams he's gonna counter with it. It's nice to have healing immunity on that level, and he's got good potency, so I think it's gonna be fine. This could move up or down depending on what application people actually find it. The thing is, after all this time, it's very difficult to imagine a world in which we all lean on Sidious, because he's kind of a clown. It's like, why so Sidious? Why so Sidious? So I don't know. Whatever. So we've got Chief Nebbit, and his Omicron is also pretty fun. It makes the Jawas so that they can't be soloed by OG Kylo, I think. I think that's what it does. Or Malak, or whatever. And they need a legitimate team. I don't know how good this one is going to be in practice. I would love to see a video footage. If you guys have any, I would love it if you would link it or let me know where I can find it, because this one, in theory, seems kind of fun, but pretty limited. But if you've developed a Jawa team and you're really proud of it, you have gear 13 on all of them, everything, like, this could be pretty good. It's just, if you want a Territory War squad, if you don't have Phasma or a good First Order team, or if you don't have Darth Sidious, then I guess consider Nebbit. I don't know. It's a pretty niche one. I think 1,000 have been applied, though, so a few people have gotten it. Now, territory battles, we have Kyle and Rolo. These ones are very difficult to predict. I bet the people have been using them a lot. I think that for Kyle Katarn, this one's pretty good just because it makes your Mon Mothma team, instead of it taking 20 million years, it makes you take probably like 10 million years to beat a territory battle wave or 4 waves with it. It looks like it's going to make it way more consistent. Looking at the verbiage of it, when I was reading it, I was like, man, okay, this looks really good. He's going to be gaining a ton of turn meter every single time he goes into the next wave, so that you don't just have someone nuked immediately by a really fast turn meter loaded droid of whatever. So this looks good. I'm excited for Kyle Katarn for every other reason than his Omicron, but territory battles aren't an issue for my main account. Really, I don't really need him. But if you find yourself with a good Mon Mothma team and other bad teams, first of all, question what your priorities were in the first place, because the Mothma team is good. It's probably not worth having a Mon Mothma team when you don't have all these other teams available. You say, so what's your best team? What's your best squad, man? You talk to some guy and they say, oh, I have a really good Mon Mothma team. And you realize that that's not a person you really want to talk to. They're probably going to infect you a little bit with whatever madness they have. So no, nothing against people who love the Mothma. You guys all know it. You should at least by now. If you watch my GAC videos, at least I use that team all the time. Kyle Katarn is going to fit on that team like a glove. Even at 3 or 4 stars, he might actually end up getting some use from me. So we'll see. But don't need his Omicron. I don't care about it. Now, the Rolo one it's basically like she's going to be a stand-in for Commander Luke, kind of. So it's her leadership, so you can't put her on a Commander Luke team and have the Omicron be effective. I guess you could have Commander Luke on your team and you'd gain some turn meter from his special and everything. That would be fine, but I feel like this is one where you apply it if you're in a kind of an earlier guild, because she's designed to go with rebels and she's giving them all this synergy, but in the Hoth light side territory battles, then that's effective. That would work. In the Geo ones, there's not enough good rebels unless it's Mon Mothma, which is a totally different matter, and you need her instead of Rolo to be the leader. Rolo is just not going to you don't have a second rebel team. It doesn't really exist that I'm aware of. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see the need. And if there is another rebel team, you'd still need to have decent relics, and that's just, it doesn't cut it, folks. I'm very skeptical about this one, because if you want to use it in the initial, in the Hoth territory battles, it's cool, but they're trying to advance you so fast that no one wants to do Hoth territory battle anyways, and if they do, you don't even start with Rolo. Rolo is an unlock character. You need other characters to unlock her, so it doesn't make a lot of sense that she would be the pinnacle of applying this Omicron. This one kind of bothers me, because it's in a game mode that I don't really care about, and it's kind of sending some weird messages. Maybe it'll be good in whatever the next territory battle things are, which who knows when that's going to happen. It's been years since we've had a new one, but we haven't mastered it yet. So otherwise, we have Hera and IPD. We don't know what they're doing. My guess is that IPD at least is going to be territory battles. Maybe Hera as well. Honestly, that Phoenix team kind of needs a niche. Or maybe they're going to be cool and make it so that she can actually help her team finish Wave 3, or Tier 3 of the Assault Battle that no one can finish. So, anyways, I think we're going to call it here, guys. What are your priorities? Do you want territory war? Are you going to focus on territory wars? Are you going to focus on GAC? I'm very curious to know what you guys are all thinking. What's your order? What rank did I miss? Go watch the Zam versus Qui-Gon debate. I think that it's actually very worthwhile to discuss it, and then read some of the comments, because people have good comments. I wasn't convinced, but people were respectfully debating, and so you get to see both sides. It's that on its own is just worth a look, in my opinion. But I do think that I will be applying GAC ones almost exclusively until I have Jango or Boba, scion of Jango, then I'll start applying a couple to him as we go along, until I get, we'll see. They're going to have to give us a new way to get Omicrons as well. But I wanted this video to be under 30 minutes, so I'm going to call it. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.